Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to a brand new F1 24 League Racing video, brand new season of PSGL. And today we're gonna try and start another banger season of PSGL in a good way. To be fair, over the past few years I don't remember ever winning the first race, so let's see if we can do that today, you know? We have won the last two championships. They were both on F1 23, of course. Only 2 seasons were run on F1 23. Of course, due to the F1 esports season, it's not always, or not in general, I think, possible to do 3 seasons with the F1 esports drivers. So yeah, we've won the past 2 championships, and now we're gonna try to start our 3rd championship hunt around Bahrain. Historically seen, I'm terrible here in qualifying, but I always tend to do well in the race for some reason. So let's see if you can do well in qualifying as well here today. As you can see, collisions are off in qualifying, and the reason for that is that slipstream is so powerful, even if you're 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds back, that it would make for a complete mess in qualifying. And that's why collisions have been turned off, because there's no slipstream without collisions on. So yeah, if you're wondering why everyone is ghosting, that's why. As we're now gonna start our very first lap in PSGL this season. As you can see, everyone is heading slightly over to the right, and it gains you a few thousandths of a second into turn 1, and that's why everyone is doing that. So to turn 1, down to 3rd gear, always a tricky exit, this one. Always losing the back end a little bit through there, and then we're gonna head towards turn number 4. Hard on the brakes, use all the entry curb available. 4th gear, let's run wide off camber, and then over the outside curb, as you don't bottom out through there anyway, and then absolutely send it in through here. Back end sticks, and down the hill we go. 3rd gear, easy to run wider as it's down the hill. Now we go up the hill and then down the hill again for this left-hander. Easy to lock up the left front. If you've got a slightly understeery car, you can see that front left just didn't quite want to grip up there. And now we open the DRS once again as we head into this very fast left-hander. 5th gear, clip the inside curb for rotation and let it run wide. Again, easy flat out through here and then into the second last corner, into the final sector. It's a 104.681 split. And that's a good split already, to be honest. A little bit of a moment on the exit there of that corner, and that definitely lost us around half a tenth. Into the final corner we go then, down to 4th gear we go. Tomek Poratsis up to P1 with a 26.167. Ismail Fazi improves on that with a 26.110. We come across the line and it is a 125.925, and it pushes P1 at the moment by 2 tenths. But still lots of people on laps, and as you can see, as we head into our 2nd lap, we are P3 behind Lucas Blakely and Barry Burmont. Barry a tenth up on us, actually lost some time in the second last corner to a previous lap, which wasn't great already anyway. But we are 1.4 tenths up. Into the final corner we go. Again, struggling with understeer through there, and a big moment, and that lost us a tenth, so that's no ideal. But up to the line we go, and it is P2 for now. With so much
last 2 corners actually.
With so much lap time in those final 2 corners around.
Watch the gain, chat.
Like 1 to 2 tenths, perhaps 1.5 tenths, I think is realistic to say. And this is our 3rd lap. I made a big mistake on that one, but we were over 3.5 tenths down on that lap, and you can see we've already gained a tenth in the second last corner, and we've gained another tenth in the last corner. But I'm gonna
did like 2.5 tenths or 2 tenths. Sorry.
Aboard this one, come into the pits, and start our final lap. Now you might be wondering, why is he doing 4 runs in Q1? And that's because the session was delayed so much that we had to go to short qualifying instead of the full qualifying, which is Q1, 2, 3. We're just doing an 18-minute qualifying session. So through turn 1 we go. Now remember, this lap was really good up into the final 2 corners where we lost 2 tenths. So there's 2 tenths in those final 2 corners with P4 at the moment. As we go through turn 4, a little bit of a moment, struggling to get the power down. And yeah, you can see the balance is not quite there yet in the car. I didn't have a lot of preparation for this. I prepared for WR Brazil quite well. But then this race is only 3 days later, and yeah, I had a little bit of a private situation going on as well, which basically made me only practice on a Monday, and then I didn't have any practice left after that. But yeah, these things happen, especially if I've got 3 league races in a week. Ironman League, PSGL and WR. But yeah, Ironman League, don't have to practice for that, of course. So back to our qualifying lap. 1.1 tenths down into the final sector. And again, a little bit of a moment through that second last corner. So we're gonna have to clutch this final corner if we want to improve on this lap. And let's see if we can get the apex this time. We do get a much better exit, and the run up to the line is much better as well. It's gonna be a 300 improvement, but it could have been close to pole position.
Not ideal, chat, I'm not gonna lie.
And yeah, it's P5, not too bad actually. I've had some war starts to PSGL with a lot better practice than this, so quite happy actually with this raw pace, and quite surprised as well, considering, yeah, you would expect some people practiced hard for this. Usually Bahrain is a track where people practice anyway, and only had 1 day of practice. So yeah, happy with this actually. P5, 1.9 tenths off from pole. Realistically, we could have been close to that if I hooked up the sectors in this qualifying session alone. So happy with this one. You see there, Danny Bresnay on pole, Barry Borman P2, Lucas Blakely P3, Jake Benham in P5, ourselves in Jake in P4, ourselves in P5,
My wheels kind
Josh
of cooked,
in P6, Ismail Fassi P7, Frederik Rasmussen, current F1 Esports World Champion in P8, Otis Lawrence P9, and Alvaro Carreton P10. And yeah, as per usual in PSGL, this is just basically an F1 Esports grid. I think the only driver that has never driven an F1 Esports before in this grid is Otis Lawrence, and that was because he's not too slow, but because he was too young. And I think this is the first year he's actually allowed to drive an F1 Esports, so can't wait to see him. But onto the race we go. We're going to be starting on the hards. Lots of different strategies though across the grid. You can see Josh Doe on P6 behind us on the softs. He gets much better traction off the line. Lucas Blakely on the hards, ahead of us Jake Benham on the mediums, Danny Bresnay on the mediums as well. I think Barry Borman on the soft. So it's 4 wide in turn 1, so I had to push Otis a little bit, oh my god, wide there, just to warn him and let him know if he go for the move,
3 wide.
then we're gonna crash. So I just had to let him know and push him a little bit wide initially to let him know it wasn't gonna work, putting it down the inside there of that left-hander. We got Duncan Hovland on our inside and trying to let him go. Overslowed a little bit and Freddy run into the back of us. As we go into the next right-hander, we got Otis on our outside, and we've dropped 4 positions so far. No ideal, but the only person we've actually lost the position to on the same strategy is Ismail Fassi, 2 positions ahead of us. So terrible start from us. Can't find the grip. Had a little bit of a unlucky position. Not unlucky. I think I just placed the car a little bit not ideal in turn 1, and then I overslowed in that chicane to let Duncan ahead, but I could have carried more speed. He had a lot more grip than I thought, and then yeah, that caused Freddy to touch the back of me. He was maybe not quite aware that I was going to go for a switchback. So P9 it is. Brendan behind us on the same strategy, Alvaro on P11. And as you can see, I'm struggling. I have not done a single lap in the race around here yet. As I said, couldn't quite prepare for this, so mainly, or actually not mainly, I just focus on qualifying, so gonna have to find our way around this race a little bit. Lap 3, we got Otis in P7, not quite having the pace on the mediums, because Lucas Blakely in P5 on the hards dropped this train of cars. Of course, he was getting carried away by the top 4 who were all on softer compounds, but then Otis couldn't keep up with that, so that made us lose time. And perhaps Lucas at great pace, probably as well. So, yeah, lap 7 now. We're gonna go on the attack here because I want to get in front of this train, because I simply felt like I had better pace. So, down the inside we go of Ismail Fassi and Otis Lawrence into P7. I ran a little bit wide there, trying to get the front end to turn in. I couldn't quite. Balance not optimal this this race. A little bit too much understeer for my liking on entry. The same in qualifying, but so far in the race I'm struggling a little bit more. Perhaps
Jacob damage shot.
not thrill breaking the right amount. And yeah, I shouldn't even say it does Jacob damage, but he got dropped as well, struggling with race pace as well here. And yeah, he's on 1.5 seconds ahead of us, doesn't have DRS as well. So we're gonna push here to get into his DRS and then pass him like a lap after so we can recharge our battery a little bit. I actually love how fast the battery recharges in F124. I know some people said like, oh, it's annoying, but I love it because it gives you the opportunity to keep attacking. At the moment with the current DRS, how powerful it is, and the current slipstream and no dirty air, it is a bit annoying. But if that would be balanced out, I think this ERS system would work great. Because yeah, in previous games,
pedal problem.
If someone would start defending like crazy and cause you to drop out or run out of ERS because he is battling you so hard, then it takes so long to recharge and it can ruin your race, especially on the top of esports. You're not going to recover from that, and that is possible now, so that's what I love. Much more action, much more possibilities with the ERS. So yeah, lap 9 here, as you can see, recharging my battery back to 100%, and then we're gonna pass Jake on the main straight. We're 3.5 seconds away from Danny Beresnay in P5, who just got passed by Lucas Blakely, I think so. So Lucas around 4 seconds ahead, maybe. So we've got quite a mountain to climb, considering he's on the same strategy as us. So that's not gonna be easy, but just gonna have to wait and see how this all pans out, of course. We got Ismail behind us, trying to have a little look, but he knows as well that we are both going to be able to get past Jake here because he is struggling. I think he had a pedal problem, as you heard me say last lap. So yeah, he's running wide there. I'm not sure what's going on, but doesn't have the pace, that's for sure. And we're going to go for the move on the very next straight. Ismail as well, probably. Jake's race seems to be over right here, right now, because yeah, he's nowhere at this point. So we're going to turn on the battery and go for a move into turn 1. Ismail right behind us, actually bomb drafting
me
into turn 1 to help us get back to the front. And you can see there, Lucas Blakely 3.7 seconds ahead. So yeah, we have to cook here, that's for sure. Ismail Fassi now ahead of us on lap 11. Obviously we're just swapping around every lap in order to get back to the front. So yeah, might see some people boxed at the end of this one on two hards, especially in that front train. You can see, I think there's like 2 or 3 people boxing right there. That's actually Georgie Doe and Barry Borman boxing at the end of lap 11. We get past Ismail Fassi, we get past Brendan Lee. Double pass, double getting overtaken for Ismail as I'm struggling with traction in turn 2. Yeah, that's just, if you don't quite have a good middle sector, then that's what happens on the main straight. So yeah, with the DRS being that strong, or the slipstream being that strong, if you don't have the gap, you're gonna get double passed, and that's what happened there. Might happen to us as well at some point in the race, you don't know, of course. End of lap 18, Brendan Lee and Alvaro Carreton both coming into the pits at the end of lap 18. We're gonna stay out for one more. Lucas Blakely is gonna stay out for one more, and Ismail Fassi staying out for one more, as we are swapping positions once again. As yeah, these hards are not great anymore. Lucas Blakely boxed at the end of lap 19. We're boxing at the end of lap 20 for a 9-lap stint on softs. And yeah, that's gonna be 9 qualifying laps to the end. Very short stint, but it's gonna be so much fun. The reason I stayed out so long is because I didn't know the tire performance. I didn't know the tire wear. So I was just guessing a little bit, you know, and that's why I stayed out 20 laps, perhaps a little bit too long, considering I saw right there when Brendan got past, he was on the softs as well. I was thinking maybe he would go to the mediums, as we got Wilson right there ahead of us. And yeah, I was thinking about sending it down the inside, but it's too far back. I didn't want to Maldonado him in turn 1 and send him flying. Because yeah, we were too far back. But now, fresh softs. I'm not sure when Wilson and Nicolas boxed, but I think it's 2 laps ago. And that means they're going to be on a lot older softs. You can see Wilson charging the battery. And we're going to try and overtake him here in the middle sector. He does have DRS, so this is going to have to be done on pure pace. He locks up into the left-hander there. We're going to turn on the battery, and he's not going to make it easy for us. You can see he's on the battery as well. So we're going to have to outbrake him here into the next left-hander. We do. We brake very deep, but we leave him the space on the exit. And we move up to P12. Behind Nicolas Longuet now, who is behind Jake Benham. Who looks like he's not going to score points this race, because he's on old hards, P10 only. We set a purple middle sector with the help of new softs and using a lot of the battery and DRS, of course. So we're going to have to recharge a little bit here again. I know Nicolas is going to be fast, so no rushing getting past him. I know he will make the moves as well. He wants to get forwards as well, so he's going to take a chill here. Recharge the battery into turn 1, and then together past Jake Benham and all the other hard runners. You can see Otis there in P8 as Tomac has retired from the session. Josh spun in turn 2 there, and that's another position for us. You can see he retired from the session straight away, and you can see the grip advantage we have through turn 4. So much more traction. Up to P9 it is. And that was a really easy one. Otis up next. I was kind of hoping Nicolas would perhaps send it there because of the grip advantage. Same here again. I was kind of hoping he'd go for a move, but he didn't. He's kind of being a little bit cautious, which I understand. First race of the season. Of course, a car you're not quite used to, and physics you're not quite used to, and wheel-to-wheel racing, so you have to be a little bit careful. Because yeah, the car behaves different in dirt year and overtaking than the previous years, of course. So yeah, it just takes a little bit to get used to. So it makes sense to be a little bit more cautious, you know. Lap 22, end of lap 22 here. And now we're going to go on the attack on Nicolas Longuet into turn 1. I'm struggling with the backhand a little bit there. Maybe trail braking a little bit too much. Struggling with understeer on the hards, but now on the softs we got good front end. I think Ismail Fassi is going to get past here as well. Obviously a lot fresher tires. And now we've got Alvaro Carreton and Brendan Lee 5 seconds ahead. Now that seems like a lot, but that 2 lap tire advantage is going to be quite a lot. And you can see just 2 laps later, 2.5 laps later, we are in the DRS of Duncan Hovland. Now we do have to recharge our battery a little bit before we go on the attack of all those hard runners. And yeah, we've got Lucas Blakely in P1. It seems like he's won the race here. Of course, he managed to stay with the lead group, and the train I was in couldn't. Yeah, which then gave him a huge advantage, of course, simply because he had great pace on those hards in that first stint. So yeah, he deserves that one, but there's still a P2 up for grabs, maybe P1 if Lucas makes a mistake, of course. I actually made a massive mistake there. I'm not driving a great race, I'm not gonna lie, chat. Or chat, I'm talking to YouTube. Brains cook, chat. I just said it again. Anyway, chat. Into turn 1 we go, a little bit of a slide again. We're gonna go on the attack on Duncan. Nothing he can do here, because this is gonna be an easy pass. Using quite a bit of his battery there actually, which surprised me, because he's gonna have a tough time defending from me, but gonna be even more tough if he has no ERS left to defend from all those other soft runners behind me. Danny Beresnay up next, 7/10 ahead, on old hards. Then Barry Borman on old hards, and then we've got Brendan Lee and Alvaro Carreton on softs, 2 lap older softs than us, which is gonna be quite a major advantage for the rest of this race. So here we go then. The DRS open, recharging our battery perhaps a little bit again here. I think Danny is gonna have a go at Barry here to try and keep us behind, perhaps. I'm not sure, but we're gaining corner by corner, and we still got 3 to go anyway at the end of this one. So we've got enough time to pass the hard runners for sure. We just might not be able to pass the soft runners. And yeah, we might have gone a little bit too conservative on the strategy, but it is what it is. Again, struggling with the backhand through there. I've had understeer the whole race, and now I'm probably just trail braking way too hard into there. You can see Danny, I think, turned on his overtake a little bit there, but went off it as he realized he wasn't going to make it. But you can see how much later we can brake on these tires, running a little bit deep in turn 1. But yeah, it's just a matter of time now before we can have a goal. We're not quite close enough into turn 4, so we're going to stay behind and see if we can pass him somewhere in the middle section, because you can see the grip advantage we have through there. Turn 4 traction, and you can see, actually had to be careful there not to run into the back of Danny. So this is going to be a relatively straightforward outbraking. Slight touch, I think, there, but we leave Danny the space on the exit, and it's going to run into the next left-hander. Downhill braking, and he's going to leave us just enough space on the exit, squeezes it onto the curb, and that was a great bit of battling between me and, unfortunately, my ex-teammate. But Ismail Fassi now up to P6. Barry Berman up next, also on old hard. So again, need to try and find a way through. Bahrain is known to be really hard for overtaking in a DRS train in F1 Esports, because, yeah, I don't know why. It's just hard. Simple as that. But we're gonna try and do it, of course. I'm gonna turn on the overtake button into turn 1. Barry on the overtake button as well. Into turn 1. I decided to put the recharge button on and go for a move in turn 1, as Barry boxed himself in a little bit, but I've gone slightly too deep and tapped the back of Alvaro there, unfortunately. And now we need to be careful not to get overtaken by Nicolas Longue behind us. And fortunately, we are safe from that. I'm just gonna sit back here a little bit, because yeah, that was completely my fault. I braked initially too early for the overtake, went off the brakes, and then realized too late that I wasn't making it and locked up. As we're now sending it down the inside of Barry, leaving him the space on the exit, of course. As he made a slight mistake through that fast left hand, I think bottomed out on the exit curve, and now we're going to send it down the inside again. We're going to leave him the space on the exit, of course. As he
Nice wheel hooking.
tries into my back wheel for some reason. I think he wasn't too happy with the dive bomb into the left-hander, but it was all fair. We got the car slowed down and gave him the space on the exit. So P5 it is. I was lucky in turn 1 that I only kind of ruined my own race a little bit there. And happy that I didn't tap Alvaro around. I kind of did the same mistake in PSGL last season in Barcelona, where I tried to overtake one person, brake too deep, and run into the person ahead of him. This was Barcelona, turn 1 against Alfie Butcher. In the opening stint, I think so. It's just a poor move. Kind of did the same again. It's really easy to do, of course, because with these DRS trains, everyone is so close, and if you brake slightly too deep, you straight away run into the guy in front. So it's a very common mistake, very easy to make, but of course, not ideal. And it's potentially cost us a P3, well, definitely a P4, but maybe a P3 or a P2. Yeah, at least very lucky we didn't get any front wing damage. Very lucky we didn't tap Alvaro around in turn 1, because otherwise we would have had a penalty, of course. And now we only got ourselves with it, unfortunately. So Brendan running a little bit wide into the left-hander there. You can see we've got a lot of battery, kind of just waiting for something to happen, to be honest, right here into the next left-hander. They're all very close together, but we've got a lot of battery. So again, I'm just sitting back a little bit, and we're gonna start pushing after this next right-hander, and then see if we can maybe go for one out of the final corner or something. It's quite unlikely, of course, because all of these guys have been saving as well all these past few laps. Brendan has to go defensive into final corner. And now we're going to turn on the battery, but we're not going to be close enough, unfortunately. It's going to be P5
yes,
in our...
Yes, guys, yes! Come on, boys!
Lucky chap.
In our first PSGL race on F1 24. But yeah, I'm quite decently surprised with the qualifying pace, as you guys can see from the title. You might be saying, why are you saying that? You ran P5. But yeah, very little prep due to personal reasons. But yeah, that's going to be better for the next few races. So the raw speed is there. WR at great qualifying pace as well. So yeah, a lot of mistakes in the race, not going to lie. But again, we're going to do better in the future. Can't wait for the next PSGL race. Not sure what track it's going to be, but it's going to be great, for sure. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe for more league races. And see you guys next time. Ciao.